Before you actually start recording with your H5, there are a few things you want to have handy to make sure your recording goes as well as possible. A fresh pair of AA batteries, an SD memory card, and a comfortable pair of headphones. There are also a few things you should do before you actually get started with your recording. First, make sure you have the batteries loaded into the back compartment of the H5. Then, connect your headphones into the headphone jack on the left side of the unit so that you can monitor what the H5 is capturing as you're recording. And if you're hesitant about this, make sure to check in the description below. I explain a little more thoroughly why I think this is really important. And finally, make sure you have your memory card inserted into your recorder too. Now it's time to turn on the recorder itself. Push the power hold switch toward the little power sign on the left side of the unit. Make sure to keep it pressed for a couple of seconds. You should see the display on the front of the recorder light up. If it doesn't, you might want to check that your batteries are still good. Next, make sure the indicator lights for the L and R buttons are red. This means that the two stereo mics at the top of the recorder are actually turned on and listening. Next, take notice of the audio meters on the display screen. You'll see them bouncing back and forth as you talk. They offer a real-time reading of the audio levels the H5 senses. You can see that when I'm talking, that the meters on the display show that the mics can actually sense my voice. And you can see that when I disengage the mics, the meters don't show any sound at all. You can use the numbered control knob on the front of the microphone capsule to adjust the sensitivity of the microphones, like this. You're going to want to adjust these dials while speaking into the microphone or recording whatever source you're trying to capture until you get your levels where you want them. For the sake of recording a voiceover, you're going to want your levels to be peaking somewhere between -12 and -6. Before we get started, though, there's one setting you're going to want to change in the menus. First, click on the menu button on the right side of the unit. Then use the scroll wheel to select the record option. Then, push the scroll wheel in order to select that option. Then select Record Format. And then make sure you have the Wave 48 kHz 24-bit option selected. Then you can click on the menu button until you get back to your home recording screen. Choosing this setting will give you the highest recording quality available on the H5. So now you're ready to start capturing your voiceover. But at the moment, we're not actually recording anything. You can tell because the numbers at the top of the display screen are still sitting at zeros. In order to start recording, you're going to have to press the record button with the little red dot, and the numbers will begin climbing. The indicator light just to the left of the record button will also glow red. Now you know you're actually recording to your memory card. You might want to take note of the file name just above the on-screen meters. These file names can be useful in case you want to take some notes about the different files you're recording for reference later, when you're organizing your files on your computer or working with them in an audio editor. While you are recording, there might come a time where you want to pause the recording because you need to cough or something like that. When you want to, just press the pause button to pause the recording, and then press it again to continue recording right where you left off within the same file. To end the recording completely, just press stop. The recording is ended, and the file is automatically saved to your SD card. At some point, you're going to want to migrate the recorded files from your recorder to your computer. There are basically two ways of doing this. You can remove the SD card from the recorder by opening the card slot door and pushing the card to release it. Then you insert the card into the card slot on your computer. The computer should recognize it as it would any other external hard drive or USB drive. From there, you can drag and drop the files onto your own computer as you see fit. The other way of getting the recording files from the H5 to your computer is to use a USB cable. On one end of the cable, there should be a standard USB connector. The other end of the cable should have a USB mini connector. Make sure you've powered down your H5 before you connect this cable. Then connect the cable and then turn your H5 back on. Instead of defaulting to your home recording screen, the screen on the H5 will give you the option of acting as an SD card reader or as an audio interface for your computer. Select the SD card reader option by using the scroll wheel selector. Once you do that, your H5 should appear on your desktop just like any other external drive or USB drive you might want to connect. From there, you can drag and drop the files onto your own computer. And this is how you go about recording files using the stereo microphone capsule on your Zoom H5.